Honey, you are my honey. So sometime what do we say? Honey, why don't you listen to me? So now I'm angry, hesitated. Otherwise, when I get all the pleasures from someone, something, then that person or object or even animal, our doggy also becomes a honey. And if the dog doesn't listen to us, then that dog does not remain our honey. But honey is a good word. So there was a great master who lived almost 2000 years ago. So he was guiding his wife, and the wife was also a great master in one of the Upanishads. So he was guiding his honey. What he was guiding, that is the topic today. So the wife was asking how to reach to the highest state of consciousness, how to succeed in mindfulness and meditation, how to awaken to the reality, how to awaken to the reality, how to awaken to Sat Chit Ananda. So once awakening takes place, we bring an end to the suffering. So this master was addressing. So I'm reproducing you the same verse. So that master was saying, my honey. You see, when we use the word honey, when we have expectations, when we have dependence, and that brings a conflict in the duality in the mind, and that honey remains for some time and mind goes into the stress and suffering. So this master was saying, honey, my dear honey, the self should be realized. How? Self should be realized? Look at it, so many years ago. The master was guiding his wife. But wife was a great seeker. She married only because of her evolution and awakening. So the master said, my dear honey, the self should be realized. How? Should be heard of, reflected on, meditated upon by the realization of the self, my dear. So what is the method of realizing and awakening to that reality? You should listen to the teacher. Why you listen to the teacher? The teacher knows the principles. But if you don't listen to the teacher and you don't understand those principles, nothing will happen. Atma vari drashtavya shrotavyo mantavyo nididhyasittavyo Maitreyi. Maitreyi is the name of the honey. Atmano vari darshanin shravanena matya Vijnanedam sarvam viditam. You know, my honey, you know you can realize the self by how? By listening, Shravanam, by contemplating and thinking in your mind about those principles, and followed by the practice. So, if you don't listen to those principles and you are not clear about those principles, for example, what is the principle when you board a plane? Before that, you should have a ticket. But you should also know the departure and the arrival point. And you should have the resources to buy a ticket. What we say about mindfulness, no, no, no problem. I know meditation is close my eyes and focus on the breath. And I'm in meditation. I succeeded in meditation. So apply the same logic. You had the resources, means I have the inner resources. I have a commitment. I have aspiration and a desire to awaken. These are the inner resources. I don't have resources. No, let me do it. It will not work. What the master is saying? Shravanam. That is what I have been talking again and again. Shravanam, simple meaning. I don't know. So what should I do? I should know it. I don't know what flight helps me to reach to New York, so I should know it. I should know the principles of meditation and mindfulness. No, no, it is not required. Then at least you will relax yourself. No doubt about it. But you will not be able to progress. That is why I give a brief talk before the practice every time. I follow the teachings of that great tradition. So, first is I don't know, so let me know the principles, Shravanam, as it is. So, what do you mean by as it is? When I say peace is your essential nature, and your mind says, for the sake of giving a class, he is saying peace is my essential nature. I have never seen it, and I don't believe it. And your mind is habitual, it accepts peace is your essential nature. You don't think about it. You don't contemplate about it. So nothing is going to happen. Yes, you will get little bit relaxation and calmness. So second step is I have to think. I don't understand. How come peace is my essential nature? How it is always present within me? I don't have time to think. And I have always the time to think that gives me the stress and anxiety. See, this is our life. So, second part is known as manana, manan, shrotavyo, mantavyo. And once my mind is clear, plane to New York, this airline, this much cost, I know the departure point, I know the arrival point, so I buy the ticket, I board the plane, I land up in New York. I don't land up in any other country. Why? Everything is clear. And so when it is not clear, then what happens? I fall into hallucinative experiences, imaginative experiences. Then we say, I have seen Shiva. Where you have seen Shiva? In my heart. Is the Shiva still alive or dead? Unnecessary. Why? Because we don't understand these principles. We don't contemplate. We don't reflect on it. We don't think about it. No, no, he's talking of the Shiva, so let me accept it. At least I'm doing a good service to this teacher who says there is a Shiva. Why? Because I'm not opposing. It's not a question of opposition. Thinking inside your head, removing the doubt is the second step. When you follow the practice, then everything falls into the right place. Then awakening is just a matter of time. Shankaracharya was a great master. With reference to these three steps, listening the principles as it is. In a chemistry teacher, he goes to the class and he says, he writes H and asks all the students, what is this H? So one student says it is alphabet from English language. So he fails in the examination, even though it is alphabet. But he is in the chemistry class. The second student says, Sir, H means hydrogen. Yes, you have understood. Are you understanding the three steps? When I say peace is your essential nature, no, it may be your essential nature, but it is not mine. You are the first student, then you don't understand. You see, check your mind. Check your mind. That is the problem. Now I think you got it. Another point that Shankaracharya is making, he says the second part. First part, you can hear, you can study, you can read from Google all the principles of mindfulness or meditation as taught by the great masters. Why you should listen to? You can read it. So Shankaracharya says reading, the first step is done, and what he says, second step is known as mananam, contemplation, reflection. What is contemplation? You're asking the questions what, why, where, and how. It brings the clarity. And the second part is reflection. It removes the doubt. Where? Whose doubt is removed? Mine. Your doubt is removed. Can you imagine, my friends? When all the doubts in your mind and intellect are removed, that peace and happiness are within me. Can you imagine what is going to happen in your mind? Your mind and intellect will be very much clear. It is prepared. It is ready for journey of meditation or mindfulness. Are you getting it? I hope you all are getting it. So what the master says the second step, that is contemplation and reflection, is 100 times superior to simply listening, simply studying. And meditation practice is 100 times superior to contemplation. And the objectless state, that is the highest state of mind, that leads to the highest state of meditation, is infinitely superior. It does not mean that I should not know the principle. Now that's why I'm using the simile. Oh, flying in a plane is such a wonderful experience. That is the last stage. Come on, first get ready. You should know. You should buy the ticket. You should have the resources. Then you should board the plane. Let it take off. And then you experience this. No, no, no. Close my eyes and I focus on the breath. And that is what the mindfulness and meditation is. Our masters have never taught like this. Are you getting it? I believe you are getting it. From today, you will start contemplating on this. The last point is so important. Another great master says, by listening, the knowledge dawns in your mind. Maharshi Raman, great master, says what he says: by listening to the principles from a teacher who customizes and personalizes the program and the practice, what happens? By listening, the knowledge dawns. By listening, you get a flame of knowledge. And by the second step, by contemplation, the knowledge is not allowed to vanish. The knowledge is not allowed to perish. So, after doing 1 hour of meditation, yes, I understand you told me, I remember peace is my essential nature, and after an hour, the mind says, no, stress is your essential nature, and you accept it. How you are going to change that? Ask yourself. So, first step is Shravanam. So, what the master is saying, the knowledge you receive by listening is like a flame, but you don't allow the flame to vanish by contemplation and reflection. How come? Just as the flame is protected by a windscreen, so the other thoughts are not allowed to enter into the mind through the contemplation. And the third step, by practice, the flame is kept up to burn bright. So that is the meditation practice. The flame is kept to burn bright by trimming the wick. Every time thought arise, the mind is tuned inward to the light of the true knowledge. And what is that true knowledge? My true nature, full of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. I believe you have understood. So let us start our journey of meditation or mindfulness today.